Hello everyone, welcome to the Mio MMA podcast where I am going to recap UFC Mexico City and also the upcoming card UFC 326 Holloway vs. Oliveira number 2 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada for the BMF title. Mind you, the BMF title is still fairly stupid. Not gonna sugarcoat it, not loving it, but hey, we'll roll with it. Anyways, what do we learn out of UFC Mexico City? What do we get out of that? So the main event is a weird one. You have Lone'er Kavanagh defeating Brandon Moreno and looking good doing it. Like, everything about Kavanaugh gets 2 thumbs up. The cardio looked better. The technique was good. The creativity was there. The physical attributes that we already knew were present. The low kicks compromised Moreno very, very early. But at the same time, I think that the performance is taking a little bit of shine off because Moreno fought pretty damn poorly. Not from an effort standpoint, not from a toughness standpoint, not from a... nothing like that. Just from a game plan standpoint, a fight IQ standpoint, having a low-paced kickboxing match with Brandon Moreno, or with Lone'er Kavanagh, if you're Brandon Moreno, at altitude on short notice, is a really, really dumb idea. And as a result, it didn't answer the questions I would have thought of we would get answered if a Kavanagh win happened. So... am I hopeful for the future of Lone'er Kavanagh? Absolutely. He went out there and he got a win against a former champion. But this feels more like the tread is just officially off the Moreno tires. I've been thinking about that for like some time. Obviously, the Tetsuya Taira fight was a problem. The Steve Erceg fight was weird. The Brendan Royval fight was also not very good. The Amir Albazi fight was more about Albazi's limitations than Moreno's strengths. And we are kind of at that point where, am I going to pick Moreno to beat people? Yeah, but I think my hopes of Moreno as a top 10 fighter in the division, particularly a division that is right now going in a very bright future, are kind of over. So I don't want to take too much away from Kavanaugh, but this was about Moreno being kind of done, and it led to this being a bit of a dud of a fight. David Martinez versus Marlon Vera. Didn't have high expectations, didn't exceed them, didn't really come lower on them. Martinez won 2 rounds and then ran away from Vera. I got nothing to say further on that. And then I made a huge chunk of money on Bobby King Green. Sorry. The story behind him dropping the Bobby name really is like, I'm really trying to force my brain to disassociate the Bobby name from him. But it was just there for years. And it's very hard. But effort must be made. King Green defeated Daniel Zellhuber. Made a bucket load of money in this because it turns out that really Daniel Zellhuber is just really, really, really flawed at this point. Now, there is a conversation about, is Zellhuber still a prospect? I think the answer is yes. He's 26 years old. He has the size and the physical attributes to be a good fighter. Like, there's nothing that cannot be fixed. Like, there's always the problem of, like, when a fighter is too lacking in durability or lacking in size or lacking in speed or lacking in strength or lacking in power or lacking in explosiveness. These are things that fundamentally cannot be really fixed. I mean, we can do a little bit with it. We could do something through strength and training condition, but at the end of the day, they're hard caps. Zellhuber still doesn't have any of that. It's all in the brain. And the problem with that is sorting out how to conquer that is a real problem. That being said, it can be done. The only thing I would like to see from Zellhuber is that he really needs to sort out a new training environment. Bring in some new people. Maybe this is a sports psychologist or something. He's at Extreme Couture. That's a very, very solid gym. There is something missing here. There's something missing, and I'm not sure how he gets it. But he can get it, which means he is still a prospect. Edgar Chairez versus Felipe Bunes. Thumbs down. That was just not a good fight. I did score it for Chairez. I have no problem with people who scored it for Bunes. I did find it a bit weird that people scored the 3rd round for Bunes. I think that that's wrong. I think that the volume and the damage is Chairez's in that round. It's really, really hard for me to see it. Like, Bunes landed a good jab that did stagger Chairez, but that was about it. That being said, as Zane Simon said when I was having a brief conversation with him, why do we care? I think the key irony actually is that because I wasn't really looking forward to the next fight, which ended up being good, but I wasn't looking forward to it, and I didn't really have a fan reaction to Chairez versus Bunes. That's ironically why we debated the round. That's ironically why people were talking about the scoring. It's there. That's all there is to it. Imanol Rodriguez and Santiago Luna and Ryan Gandra, actually basically all three of these fights, same thing. They fought guys who are not really UFC caliber. They got the job done. Rodriguez got scared by Borjas knocking him down, but that's really about it. Got the job done. He still looks good. Luna still looks good, although Killer Instinct with Luna was a bit weak. And Gandra destroyed Jose Medina. Please, can we cut Jose Medina but now? By the way, they tried really hyping up Pacheco and Medina about like their kind of like personal journeys, and it's like none of this makes me want to see them fight. Like it actually makes me want to see them fight less. Like Medina's a full-time veterinarian and a father. Like I don't want to see him get brain damage. And Pacheco's got serious like mental health struggles. I don't want to see him get brain damage. I don't know why. It reminds me of that heavyweight fight they had while back. Oh man, I'm forgetting his name. Branko Persic? Oh, the Australian with a Croatian sounding name against the black American dude, and they were talking about how one was like homeless and one was pondering suicide. I'm just like, this doesn't make me want to see them fight, and they did it like again with these two fighters. I don't get it. Eileen Perez and Macy Chasen was interesting for a round because Chasen had some interesting grappling stuff. I even had a post online where I'm like, I don't even know what a Chasen win looks like in this fight, and then instantly she's like out grappling and threatening the legs and stuff against Eileen Perez, and I'm like, oh, I guess that's how it looks. But then the second and the third rounds looked like I expected them to. Perez being able to close the distance without any real issue, get the takedowns, get the top control, not do a lot of damage, but whatever. It's women's bantamweight. What do you expect? Perez's call out of Tracy Cortez was really weird. I say this for three reasons. One, Cortez is in a different weight class. Why? Just why? Two, after all of Perez's early game, like calling out for a title shot back when she absolutely did not deserve it, she comes off a win over Macy Chasen, and this probably puts her in actual title contention. Women's bantamweight is a wasteland. It's like her and Norma Dumas, and that's like it. I can't even think of a third name to throw in there. And she's not calling for a title shot. Weird, confusing, don't get it, whatever. And finally, I guess that Cortez is just not like a hot name to call out right now, but the horny fans loved it, so I guess mission accomplished in that regard. Christian Quiones versus Chris Moutinho. No, I have nothing to say about that. Javier Reyes defeated Douglas Silva de Andrade in a just sad stoppage. I made a promise that I was going to remember how to pronounce Regina in a Spanish form, and now I'm blanking on it. Good God. Why? Regina Tarin versus Ernesto Caracati. That was a good fight. It won fight of the night. I don't think it should have, because I think there were better fights. I would have gone with probably Green versus Zellhuber personally. But they gave this fight of the night. Of the fights that went the distance, I guess it was the best of the bunch. High volume striking affair between two ladies. Tarin was able to hurt Karaskaite at times. Karaskaite was really unable to hurt Tarin at any time, and I believe got outbalanced on volume as well. So I think I gave Karaskaite the third round, if I'm not tremendously mistaken. I do have my scores written down here. Yeah, I gave the third round to Karaskaite, but she was down 2 rounds by that point. And for a late notice replacement at altitude, Tarin did great, and I am excited to see what she does in the future. Eric Silva versus Francis Marshall went like I expected to. Wes Schultz versus Damian Panas went slightly better than I thought it would. Like, I thought Schultz would have like something for him a little bit, but like he just got terminated. Cue all the penis jokes about Damian Panas. Anyways, onwards to UFC pay-per-view time. UFC 326, Holloway versus Oliveira, headlined by the BMF belt. And as per usual, I'm going to be talking about betting. I'm going to be talking about information you could use for your own betting and about my betting. And feel free. However, bet responsibly. This is not a path to financial freedom. This sport is chaotic. This sport can turn on a dime. This sport is merciless in terms of anyone trying to make money off of it. Anyways, onwards. Now, let's again just hit this bird with another bat. The BMF belt adds nothing to Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira 2. This is a great fight. This is a battle between two all-time action fighters, and I am here for it. I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it. I'm going to be cheering my lungs out. I'm going to be happy regardless of who wins. Like, this is a perfect booking. Other than I think Holloway should have been, in the title fight. It's Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. But hey, should have been Holloway versus Arman Tsarukyan. However, if I couldn't get that, this is a nice second prize. Do I know who's going to win this fight? I really don't. The reason I say this is because they're both like very, very unique fighters in their own way. Holloway is this high volume, super tough, surprisingly dangerous guy that I, back in the day, really thought was not going to do anything. And he ended up being the champion and at one point the greatest featherweight of all time. Probably after he beat Aldo the second time. Had a nice long run, lost the belt to Alexander Volkanovski, and that's really about the only person who's actually solved him on a striking level. So there you go. Oliveira is a guy I also didn't have a lot of faith in. I found him incredibly fun and everything, but I was like, you know what, this guy is too easy to hit. He doesn't seem to find his way into a fight without getting clocked a couple times. He has some mental resiliency issues, and then he just kind of flipped a switch and figured out a way to like do that. Like he still ended up getting, stopped a couple of times, and that is going to happen when you have a defensively vulnerable game like Charles Oliveira does, and Toporia's knocked him out. We saw Islam Makhachev get the job done with him, but like right about a time of I don't know really when it was. When the moment I think this changed was, I think probably honestly it was the second Poirier fight where it really sunk in that this guy had really changed. I think the signs of it was there before, like the fight, probably every fight from the Paul Felder loss onwards. But it was against people who I just thought he would beat anyway. So like it didn't really sink in until the Poirier fight. And it figured out that he had figured out the mental game. He had figured out that he was not afraid of getting hit, and he was going to use it. He was going to be aggressive. He was going to step through it. He was going to make the violence happen. And there was always going to be that opportunity he gets like wasted, but he was going to be there to make the plays happen. And I expect him to try to do this here, and I expect him to fail. But I do not know. I mean, people are like, Holloway has beaten grapplers before. Absolutely true. But Charles Oliveira is like one of the most complete packages of a grappler of all time. It's not that he's like the best at one thing. He's got takedowns. He's got control. He's got scrambling. He's got ground and pound that he punishes you with. He's got submissions that he drops on. And it's not like a specific submission. Like, this dude's got rear naked chokes. This guy will attack the legs. This guy will do arm entrapments and everything. Like, the setup is there for almost any kind of submission you could think about. Like, his finishes tend to be chokes because I think every submission artist is, but he'll use other things to make things happen. And that is, in my opinion, very key. He's also got pretty good power, honestly. Like, he throws his body into those shots really, really well. So it's a dangerous fight, but I applaud Oliveira's ability to keep range at times, work at a high pace, not be reliant on one shot to kill you, but to follow it up. And since we know that Oliveira can be hurt and that he needs time and that it's really just his recovery, not his durability, that allows him to function, I assume Holloway will continue to punish those without gassing himself out and falling into submission holds. So I am going with Holloway by a later round TKO, probably round 3, round 4. I'm thinking Oliveira did fade quite badly against Michael Chandler. I don't expect this to be any different. I expect this to be more of a pace in that regard. So Holloway by late TKO. He's a minus 210 to minus 230 favorite. Plus 155 to plus 185 on Oliveira. Feels very right, very solid. We go from that to a co-main event that is just all bad vibes. Kyle Bahayo versus Reiner de Ridder. Reiner de Ridder coming off of that terrible, terrible performance against Brendan Allen where he gassed out really, really badly. And there's no way I can take him. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's got a little bit of power. He is a finisher on the ground if he can get that there. And Bahayo's not necessarily untakedownable. But Bahayo, despite the fact that he has proven, and a lot of the fighting nerds, I think, unfortunately have proven this, that they have no adaptability in their game whatsoever. Once the original game plan fails, they go to pot. The thing is that, come on, man, you have seen how Reiner de Ridder loses. Just take it. Just take it. It's like, it's in your wheelhouse. You have the skills to make this initial read and just ride that read to a victory. Please do it. Please. I don't even like the fighting nerds. I find them annoying. But like this idea that this Brazilian gym, this sort of second coming of shoot a box to a certain degree, not on a violence level to be clear, but like on the character level and the fun level, the pageantry level of shoot a box. I want it to succeed, but it hasn't yet. And as a result, I'm cheering for it here. Go Kyle. He is the favorite, minus 270, minus 310, I assume decision. And plus 210 to plus 230 on Reiner de Ritter. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Rob Font. This is a weird fight in public talking because Sandhagen keeps coming up in the conversation. Corey Sandhagen out-wrestled Rob Font. Therefore, Raul Rosas Jr. can do that. Here's the thing. I do not doubt that Raul Rosas Jr. can take down Rob Font. It's happened a lot. But Corey Sandhagen's way of doing it is not replicable by probably, honestly, anybody. But it's also particularly not replicable for Rosas because it was a short notice fight, which Sandhagen came in there. And Sandhagen came in with this strategy that I don't think anyone actually saw coming. I don't think anyone saw D1 Sandhagen coming. As a result, it shocked the fans, it shocked Font, it shocked his corner. They didn't know how to handle it. Rosas is going to come out there and he's going to try and wrestle. He doesn't do anything else. If Font's not prepared, that's entirely on him and his coaching staff. And they deserve to never be in the UFC again at that point. So, while I believe Rosas will get takedowns, I don't think it'll be nearly like what Sandhagen did. And here's the thing, though. Beating Rob Font has not been about getting takedowns. Because Kyler Phillips did that, and he lost. Cody Garbrandt did that, and he lost. Ricky Simone did that, and he lost. Jan Matsumoto took him down 7 times, and he lost. It's about actually locking him down and being able to control him and work your ground game. And I don't actually think that that's going to happen here. I think that Font will get taken down. I just think that he will be able to get up and he will be able to light Rosas up on the feet. Now, the bright side is age plays to Rosas' favor here. 38-year-old Rob Font, wheels could fall off. 21-year-old Raul Rosas, rapid improvements can happen because that's the nature of the game. But, I haven't really seen a lot of leaps forward in Rosas. Don't get me wrong, he's gotten better at containing himself and pacing himself. After the Christian Rodriguez loss, where he gassed out pretty badly, he went the distance with Arichi Lang, he went the distance with Vince Morales, he kept the pace up against Ricky Tercios for longer than we had seen him before. So he was making things happen and becoming better and obviously working on that. But on a technical level, his stand-up still feels very much the same. Very much sub-UFC level. And as a result, I assume Font will light him up there. And I just don't think the takedowns are going to result in enough top control or a finish to really make this happen because Font has been, even in fights where he's been terribly, terribly out-wrestled, very hard to finish. You look at his record, you will find no submission losses except for a guillotine by Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz has got a good guillotine. He's got a real good guillotine. Now, Rob Font does have a weird thing where, his career has been over, in my opinion, at various points. Where it's just the wheels have fallen off, in my opinion, and then somehow they came back on. When he beat Kyler Phillips and Jan Matsumoto, it was oh my God, you just lost to Davidson Figueiredo. You just lost to Corey Sandhagen in a terrible, terrible performance. You lost to Vera and Aldo before that. It's I have to realize that, as bad as Font looks in losses, he comes back and he beats the young guns again. So I'm going to go with Rob Font. I'm happy to see him as the underdog because I could try to make some money off that. Plus 175 to plus 190. Minus 225 to minus 230 on Rosas Jr. I think that's a little bit wide. I think it's a little bit too much confidence at 21-year-old. But hey, he could make that improvement. He could jump forward. Font could fall off. It's on the table. I'm not saying he can't win. I just think that those odds are wide. Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson. Going with Michael Johnson. Yes, both of them are not their best anymore. Both of them are in their late 30s. The difference is I'm watching Drew Dober fight Kyle Prepolek and going, oh my God, he has fallen off so far. And with Michael Johnson, it's he's still fast. He's still flawed in the sense that I think he's afraid of some things and he's a horrible, horrible grappler, but Dober doesn't do takedowns. Dober doesn't do rear naked chokes. Dober doesn't do submissions. I don't think Drew Dober has a single submission in his entire UFC career. And that's been going on a long time. Let's see. Does he have a submission? And I'm just not remembering it. Nope. I'm seeing TKOs. Okay. Jamie Varner. Jamie Varner back in 2014. We're going back a long time. Other than that, it's TJ O'Brien in VFC back in 2013. It's not there. We'll just put it that way. So the chronicle issue for Michael Johnson is just not on the table. So Johnson by TKO. Dober's chin is gone. I don't think his game functions without that durability. Michael Johnson's the favorite. Minus 120 to minus 125. Minus 106 to plus 105 on Dober. Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferreira, a pointless rematch of a fight that happened a while back. Ferreira won that fight. I'm picking Rodriguez for the same reasons I picked him then. He's a better fighter. He's bigger. He's more size for 185. He has powerful hands. He has the better technical game, which is really weird to say when we're talking about Hobocop because technical is not the word that comes to mind with his game. But Ferreira is like a really limited fighter who just hits really, really hard and catches some submissions. Could he knock out Rodriguez again? Yeah, we have like literal visual evidence that he can knock him out again. Like it's happened once, it can happen again. But like the first fight, I am going with the far better fighter, Hobocop here. He is a minus 190 to minus 210 favorite, plus 160 to plus 163 on Ferreira. Cody Garbrandt, Lao Zhang. I can't pick Lao Zhang to beat Cody Garbrandt. He's bad. I respect a lot of things about Lao Zhang. And I mean this sincerely. This is not me trying to like cover up the fact that I'm disrespecting his abilities as a UFC fighter. Dude's got heart. He fights at a good pace. He's pathologically aggressive. He is willing to throw his entire body behind strikes. And I appreciate that about him. But he is lacking all the physical talents outside of cardio and I guess durability to be a UFC level fighter. Cody Garbrandt is shot. He is done. I don't really want to see him fight again, but this is a level of opponent that I think he can absolutely beat. He is still hard to out-wrestle. He is still offensively potent when he feels like he can go for it. And this feels a lot more like the Brian Kelleher or the Trevin Jones or the Rafael Suncow fight than it does the fights that he's been losing to TJ Dillashaw. Well, I guess it does feel a little bit like the Pedro Munoz fight, but not that much. Rob Font, Kai Kara France, Davidson Figueiredo, Hani Barcelos. These are like very high-end athletes for the most part, with the exception of Font, I guess. But Font is a really technical, hard-to-outbox guy against a guy who is in fear of getting knocked out. That's always going to be a hard matchup. Lao Zhang just shouldn't make him afraid. I guess that's the nutshell I'm going with here. Lao Zhang is the favorite at minus 148 to minus 165. Let me double check that because I remember being very unsold on that there and I wanted to do the recheck live. Nope, I'm right. Lao Zhang is the favorite against Cody Garbrandt. I'm betting money on Cody Garbrandt in 2026. This does not feel good. Garbrandt by decision. He could knock out Lao Zhang, but like I don't trust him to go for it. Like I just remember that Trevin Giles fight and going like, man, you don't want to fight here, and you're not going to step on the gas against a guy that you could step on the gas against in a nutshell. So there's that. Then we have Cody Brundrich versus Dante Johnson. Basically, I'm going to treat this exactly like I treated the fight between Medina and Gandra. I don't know if Johnson's any good. I really don't. I think he's too short for the division at 5'8". 5'8", yeah. 74-inch reach is not bad, but 5'8". And I don't really trust his level of opposition at all at a UFC level, but I don't trust Cody Brundrich at all. I don't know why he's being booked here. He got stopped a month ago by Cam Roston. Cam Roston is a fine fighter, but he is not a great fighter. And he went out there and he beat the brakes off Brundrich, and Brundrich stopped wanting to fight him. I don't want to see Brundrich fight. I never really have. But we're especially at the point where, like, dude's broken. Do I take the version of him that fought Mansour Abdul Malik, like, I think 8 months ago? Maybe. I'd be more interested. But he's broken, and I'm picking Johnson by TKO. Johnson's a prohibitive favorite at minus 549 to minus 650, plus 400 to plus 460 on Brundrich. Then we have Alberto Montez versus Ricky Tercios. I hate this, but I'm picking Tercios. Montez just doesn't seem like a UFC level fighter to me. He's fine. He has decent punching power. He has a nice front choke game, anacondas, darces, that kind of thing. But he's willing to give up, position to try to hit them. And his striking is kind of just meh. Like he's 31 years old. I think that's the other thing is I just don't expect like a major step forward from him. I don't think his wrestling is that good either. Tercios is not a good fighter, but Tercios will fight at a pace. It's hard to finish, hard to control, hard to submit, hard to really hurt. So, yeah, I got Tercios winning by decision. He's an underdog, plus 154 to plus 163. I get that. He's looked bad lately. Montez is the fresh hotness, minus 190 to minus 200. I just don't think he's all that good. And then I'm going to pick another underdog because as bad as I feel about it, I'm picking Cody Durden to beat Niam Jargal Tum Dembarel. God, that's a long name. Tudembarel is just, okay, he has all the physical tools you would want. He's a fast striker. He's explosive. He's powerful. He's strong. He has a little bit of wrestling. His technical game is just bad, though. It is non-existent. It does not exist. It is not there. He has all the physical tools to be a good fighter, but like, the Mongolian MMA scene is, we are not here for this. In a nutshell. We're just not. If he's going to be your first ambassador, you could do worse. You could do Anshul Jubilee, but he's just not actually good at anything. And I think, despite the fact that Durden's not a fantastic athlete, not the most durable guy either, not the smartest guy, I think you actually have to be good at something to beat his wrestle boxer style. Like, he fights at a decent pace, he throws combinations, he wrestles well, he's got good stamina, generally has a good game plan. It's just he gets caught anyways. It's just like, his submission losses are to guys who are like, they live on their submissions. Alan Nascimento, Tadjur Ulanbekov, Mohamed Mokaev, Jimmy Flick. That's all Jimmy Flick has going for him. Let's be real. And his knockout losses have been to Bruno Silva, who's a heck of a hitter. And Jose Ochoa, who's a heck of a hitter. So, that's that. Durden to win. Probably say something vaguely insensitive about Asian people again. Odds are plus 110 to plus 116 on Durden, minus 146 to, or minus 130 to minus 146 on Tudem Burrell. Subudarji versus Jesus Aguilar. I don't like picking Subudarji because I don't really trust the guy fundamentally, but he's got a good jab game. He's got a good low kick game. He is 4 inches taller than Aguilar. He has 9.5 inches of reach. Aguilar is just not built for this. Now I'm gonna say the nice things I said about like Lao Zhang. Aguilar is tough. He goes after it. He's aggressive. He's got power in his hands. Throws a mean overhand right. He's got a good guillotine choke, but like, he's just not athletically gifted enough. At a nutshell, he's not fast enough, I think, is fundamentally it. And he's not necessarily a great pace fighter either. So, or a great wrestler. So Sumudarji by decision is my pick. He's the favorite, minus 250 to minus 265, plus 196 to plus 210. Would not bet on Sumudarji at those odds. That's a little too wide for this guy because he's been hurt a couple of times. He's had some bad looks. But I look at his losses and I'm just like, who on this list is Jesus Aguilar? And it's like, it's not Charles Johnson. It's not Tim Elliott. He's not, well, there's a little bit of Matt Schnell there. Not gonna lie. But Matt Schnell is also kind of unique in that regard. And then like, you're looking at Louis Smoka. Also, I always find it weird that Sumudarji signed with the UFC off of a loss. That's always a weird thing. A weird thing. What was wrong with Hoban Ma? Who was not really turned into anything, but still, it just feels weird that he beat Sumudarji and didn't get a chance. His record after that was horrible. That was 2-4. Anyways, moving on down the card, we have Rafael Tobias versus Dayar Nugrushe and Luke Fernandez and Rodolfo Bellato. I'm going to put this here on both of them because I look at Fernandez and I look at Tobias. I look at them basically the same. You guys have the physical attributes to be good fighters. You have, you're maybe a little undersized, 6'2" and 6'1", but you got decent reaches. You've got clear athletic gifts. There's some speed. There's some explosiveness. There's some power. There's some hard-hittedness. There's some submission talent in both corners. There's some striking ideas, but like at the same time, I look at your record and it's just no one good. Like I went and dug out, for some reason it's not on Fight Pass, but the fight for the CFFC title between Luke Fernandez and blanking on his name, Christian Edwards. And that was a long fight where I'm like, man, Fernandez got stuck here doing a lot of nothing. When guys don't crumble before him, I don't really know if there's a lot there. And I don't know if there's a lot there in Tobias also. If people crumble, I'm picking one, I'm not picking the other. I'm picking Tobias to beat Dayar Nugrushe. It hurts me to do so because Nugrushe has some like Tourette's related thing with the tics and everything. And as a guy who suffers from Tourette's and has tics, I respect that and I would love to see that do well. I'm shit you not. I really would like to see him do well. But his durability is not there. His submission IQ, not there. And after watching him lose to, not Rafael Sequeira, the other one. Shite. The one that lost to Well, he's lost Brenton Hibaro. That's the one. I had to look it up. I'll admit it. I can't really take Nergoshai against anyone, but I can take Bellato because, don't get me wrong, if Luke Fernandez comes in here and blows out Rodolfo Bellato, I'm happy because Fernandez is like interesting and new and Bellato is hard capped and not going anywhere, but I just don't think Fernandez is all that good. I mean, we'll see. Again, love to be wrong, but I don't think he's actually got the skills, got the ability. I think if someone doesn't fold in front of him, he has problems. And Bellato is flawed in a lot of ways, but he does not fold. He is a solid piece of concrete. He did melt to Victor Petrino though, so we'll see. But I'm going to go with Bellato by decision. I'm going to go with Bellato by decision, and I'm going to go with Tobias by TKO. There you go, in the 205 fights. Both the newcomers are favorites. Tobias is minus 195 to minus 225. Fernandez is a bigger favorite for some reason at minus 225 to minus 245. And Nergoshai is plus 162 to plus 175 and plus 175 to plus 195 on Bellato. Final fight we're going to talk about here is Gaston Bolaños versus Ji Young Lee. I went back and forth on this one a couple of times because on one hand you have Bolaños, who is the physical aspects of a fighter you would like. He's creative, he's exciting, he's dynamic, he's the guy you would like to see do well in the UFC because the sky is the potential. He could be like really, really good. But he's 33 years old and has not become that good fighter really at all. There's routine grappling issues, there's routine decision making issues, and a lot of what he gets away with it because he can be really, really explosive, and he doesn't always get away with it because he got submitted by Quan Lee and got knocked out by Marcus McGee and lost a couple of fights in Bellator towards the end as well. So there's a limit to how far he can go, and his wins are over Aaron Phillips and Cortavious Romeus, and they're really, really, really not well-formed fighters. And then for Ji Young Lee, he has the technical aspects you would like to see. He's a decently competent boxer, decently competent wrestler, decently competent grappler. It's all there, but just not backed up by a lot of speed or explosiveness or power or anything like that, really. And that's why he got wasted by Hyder Emil. That's why he lost to Daniel Willie Cat Santos, who is a similarly very unformed fighter, very formless guy. Well, not Bolaños is formed. It's just flawed. That's the word I'm looking for. Flawed as opposed to formless. And I'm going to take Bolaños. But who knows? I might change my mind by Saturday because it's tough. I think at the end of the day, I'm just betting on the underdog here because Bolaños is a plus 210 to plus 265 underdog. And it's minus 275 to minus 340 on Lee. And that's way too long odds. But Bolaños by TKO just because he's the underdog. And I might change my mind. Every other fight I think is locked in stone. That's who I'm picking. This one is one of those ones where I don't have a solid read. If you combine these two, the athleticism of Bolaños and the game of Lee, you'd have a really good fighter. But the game, you'd also have a really terrible fighter if you gave the game of Bolaños and the athleticism of Lee. It would be quite poor. Anyways, that's the fights coming up. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on them. Stay safe with your betting. And there is a link somewhere around this podcast where you can find more of me with video game action, Discord, social medias, all that kind of stuff. I'll be back after the fights. You have a good one.